The guest of honor has just concluded the inspection of the photograph. Very distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, announcing the arrival of the guest of honor for today's event, His Excellency, Mr. President, Federal Republic of Nigeria, President Muhammadu Buhari, Grand Commander of the Federal Republic, ably represented by the Honorable Minister of Defense, Major General Bashir Salih Magashi, retired. The national anthem. You may please be seated. The guest of honor, His Excellency President Muhammadu Buhari, Grand Commander of the Order of the Federal Republic, Commander-in-Chief, Armed Forces, Federal Republic of Nigeria, ably represented by the Honorable Minister of Defense, Major General Bashir Magashi, retired. His Excellency, the Executive Governor of Benue State, Dr. Samuel Otom, Chairman, House Committee on Defense, Honorable Babajimi Benson, Chairman, House Committee on the Air Force, Honorable Shehu Mohammed Koko, Pakistani Ambassador to Nigeria and members of his entourage, the Chief of Defense Staff, ably represented, our Chief Host, Chief of the Air Staff, Air Marshal Oladayo Amao, the Chief of the Army Staff, Lieutenant General Tahir Ibrahim, the Chief of Naval Staff, ably represented, Vice Chief of the Air Staff, Pakistan Air Force, Air Marshal Saeed Norman Ali, the representative of Director of State Services, former service chiefs here present, Director of Air Force at the Ministry of Defense, Mr. Ashibel Usu, branch chiefs from the Defense and Services Headquarters, Commandants of Tri-Service and Nigerian Air Force institutions, the Director General of Defense Research Development Bureau, Air Officers Commanding, the National President, Nigerian Air Force Officers' Wives Association, and other members of the association here present, senior military officers both serving and retired, distinguished invited guests, members of the press, ladies and
was Makodi, the venue of this epoch-making event. It is indeed an honor for the Tactical Air Command to host another Nigerian Air Force anniversary celebration, having last had the privilege of doing so 4 years ago in 2017. We are delighted for the opportunity, more so that the aircraft being inducted today has its home base here. There is no doubt in my mind that the new aircraft will add significant value to our operations. Ladies and gentlemen, there is no gainsaying the fact that air power with its attributes of rapid response, versatility, flexibility, mobility, firepower, precision, and timeliness has the potential to ensure victory over the threats to the nation's security, particularly when employed in synergy with sister services and other security agencies. This is especially so when employed with the right quantity and quality of equipment, along with the appropriate number of professionally trained personnel to employ them. This is indeed in line with the vision of my Chief of Air Staff of enhancing and sustaining critical air power capabilities required for joint force employment in pursuit of national security imperatives. Today's induction is another positive step towards the attainment of this vision in positioning the service for greater effectiveness. We are therefore extremely grateful to the special guest of honor, the President, Commander-in-Chief of the Armed Forces of Nigeria, ably represented, as well as all other critical stakeholders of the government, for ensuring that this day comes to fruition. On our part, the Nigerian Air Force, through the Tactical Air Command, will do its best to ensure that the aircraft are properly maintained and operated in the most professional manner. We therefore wish to assure the Chief of the Air Staff, the Chief of Defense Staff, members of the National Assembly, as well as the Honorable Minister of Defense, and through him, the President, Commander-in-Chief of the Armed Forces, President Muhammad Buhari, GCFR, that we will ensure that the nation derives the requisite benefit from the investment made in acquiring these platforms. On that note, I wish to once more welcome the special guest of honor, and particularly, sir, I want to recognize that for the first time, I'm seeing almost all the former service chiefs that are still alive here with us. I urge you to please enjoy the activities that have been lined up to showcase the capabilities of the new aircraft as well as our existing platforms. Thank you all, and God bless you. Thank you, sir.
That was the welcome address. Next on the program is the address by the host, the Chief of the Air Staff, May I now most respectfully invite the Chief of the Air Staff, Air Marshal Oladayo Amao, Distinguished Flying Star, to deliver his address. The Chief of the Air Staff.
The special guest of honor, President Muhammadu Buhari, GCFR, ably represented by the Honorable Minister of Defense, Major General Bashir Magashi, retired. His Excellency, the Executive Governor of Benue State, Dr. Samuel Ortom, and his esteemed entourage, Chairman House Committee on Defense, Chairman House Committee on Air Force, Pakistani Ambassador to Nigeria and members of his entourage, the Chief of Army Staff, the Chief of Naval Staff, ably represented, the Vice Chief of Air Staff, Pakistani Air Force, Air Marshal Saeed Nomar Ali, the representative of the Directors of State Services, former service chiefs here present, Director Air Force, Ministry of Defense, branch chiefs from Defense and Service Headquarters, Commandant of Tri-Service and Nigerian Air Force institutions here present, Director General, Defense Research and Development Bureau, Air Officer Commanding, the National President, Nigerian Air Force Officers Wives Association, and other members of NAFOA here present, senior military officers both serving and retired, distinguished invited guests, members of the press, distinguished ladies and gentlemen. It is indeed a great honor and pleasure for me to welcome the special guest of honor, His Excellency Muhammadu Buhari, GCFR, ably represented by the Honorable Minister of Defense, Major General Bashir Magashi, retired, as well as all our other distinguished invited guests to the grand finale of the 2021 Nigerian Air Force Day celebration, which is also witnessing the auspicious induction of the three brand new JF-17 Thunder Multi-Role aircraft into the order of battle of the service. This year, as part of the semi-low-key celebration of the 57th anniversary of Nigerian Air Force, we have so far conducted COVID-19 protocols, compliance, medical, humanitarian outreaches, as well as Jumat prayers and interdenominational church services in the Nigerian Air Force units and host community across the country, while also inaugurating the pilot scheme of a new telemedicine system to enhance access to qualitative healthcare by personnel and their families. In line with the theme of this year's celebration, which is enhancing Nigerian Air Force air power capabilities for effective joint operations, yesterday we had a seminar that enabled us to critically reflect on our operations over the years, while taking stock of our achievements and challenges with a view to ensuring that we become even more effective and efficient in joint operation to speedily bring to an end the security challenges in various trouble spots across the country. Today's event, which marks the climax of the celebration, is yet another milestone bearing glowing testimony of the current federal government administration's unwavering resolve to equip and energize the Nigerian Air Force, and indeed the entire armed forces of Nigeria, towards combating terrorism, insurgency, armed banditry, and other threats to the nation's territorial integrity and the security of its people. Let me place on record that under the current administration, the Nigerian Air Force has inducted 23 brand new aircraft into its inventory from 2015 till date. This comprised of 10 Super Meshach trainer aircraft and 13 wing combat platforms. The combat platforms include 5 M35M helicopter gunship, 4 Agusta 109 powered helicopter, as well as 2 Mi-171E and 2 Bell 412 multi-role helicopters. The induction of the 3 JF-17 Thunder aircraft today brings the total number of new aircraft inducted in the last 6 years to 26. These aircraft have significantly boosted our operational effectiveness in the fight to defeat all threats to the nation and its citizenry. In this wise, through synergy with surface forces, the freedom of action of insurgents and terrorists in the Northeast have been effectively contained. Consequently, Nigerian Air Force combat and combat support operations, energized by our upscale order of battle, have contributed to improving the security situation in the Northeast, while also contributing significantly to dealing with threats in the Northwest, North Central, and other parts of the country. So far, the Nigerian Air Force has flown 36,856 hours in this role. Additionally, the Nigerian Air Force has flown 8,559 hours in the non-traditional missions of aid to civil authority and civil power. Besides dealing with internal threats, the Nigerian Air Force has also projected power beyond the shores of Nigeria. The most recent of these efforts was airlift by the Nigerian Air Force C-130 aircraft of thousands of kilograms of COVID materials supplies donated by the West African Aid Organization to 13 West African countries in March this year, bringing the air effort in support of the nation and national and regional COVID prevention efforts since 2020 to a total of 462 sorties. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, when I assumed office as the 21st Chief of Air Staff, I came on board with the vision of enhancing and sustaining air power capability required for joint force employment in pursuit of national security imperative. This was to be achieved through key drivers of focus on doctrinal development and application of air power in joint military operations, pursuit of purposeful training and human capacity development, as well as sustenance of platforms and equipment serviceability through innovative maintenance method and logistics support system. We also realized that to achieve the vision, we must foster a disciplined workforce, which is essential for combat readiness, while also bolstering morale by improving personal welfare. We have taken steps over the past few months to place measures to achieve these goals, and in the process, recorded tangible results, especially with the improved synergy and maximization of effects in the various theaters of operation. As part of our efforts to boost our morale by improving personal welfare, we have, during the course of the past few months, renovated, remodeled, and constructed new blocks of classrooms and hostel accommodation in existing Nigerian Air Force schools across the country, while engaging in massive construction and renovation of residential accommodation to reduce the accommodation shortage in our bases. Similarly, we have sustained our effort to expand the post-service housing scheme to ease the burden of post-service life settlement for our personnel. In addition, we have continued to invest heavily in research and development in our quest to develop capacity to surmount current and emerging security challenges. We are building on feats achieved over the years in the areas of unmanned area system technology, rockets and rocket launchers, heat shield protective cones for the Alpha Jet rocket pods, among others. Some of our latest research and development efforts are on display for you to see later in the program. It is also worth mentioning that we are expecting 20 additional aircraft comprising 12 A-29 Super Tucano aircraft from the United States and 8 unmanned area vehicles that will arrive in Nigeria as from July this year. These additional aircraft will no doubt inject significant impetus into our air power employment capability in support of joint operation. I am delighted to add that through the immense support of the federal government, we have also been able to train 133 new pilots during the period to effectively man these new platforms as well as others being expected. 4 of the pilots were winged just last month, while 130 others are undergoing flying training in different training institutions, both within and outside the country. This is aside 1,700 personnel of other specialties undergoing training within and outside the country. I therefore wish to express our deepest appreciation to Mr. President for untiring support towards meeting the operational, logistics, and welfare needs of the Nigerian Air Force. On our part, we will ensure that the maintenance schedules of the aircraft are strictly adhered to and that the high safety standards for which the Nigerian Air Force is known are maintained so that the nation derive optimum benefits from the acquisitions of the new platforms. I also wish to assure Mr. President and the Nigerian people that the Nigerian Air Force, working closely with all relevant stakeholders in Nigeria, will never relent in our national commitment to decimate, defeat, and deter those who aim to undermine our safety, security, peace, prosperity, and unity. I want to use this opportunity to appreciate the support of the government and good people of Benue State through the Executive Governor, His Excellency Dr. Samuel Otom. We are equally grateful for the commendable effort of the National Assembly, especially the Defense and the Air Force Committee, as well as the Ministry of Defense, the Defense Headquarters, and our sister services for the successes that we have achieved so far. May I also warmly appreciate our partner from Pakistan, the Pakistani Air Force and the Pakistan Aeronautic Complex Camera, vendor of the JF-17 Thunder aircraft. We are indeed grateful for your continued cooperation and support, exemplified here by the presence of the Vice Chief of the Air Staff of Pakistan Air Force. I would also like to specially thank our revered forebearers, the former Chief of Defense Staffs and former service chiefs, for the legacy they emplaced, the guidance they continue to provide, as well as for their esteemed presence here with us today. Thank you very much. Finally, Your Excellency, we promise to continue discharging our duties relentlessly to ensure a secure, united, prosperous Nigeria, working in concert with sister services and other security agencies. On the final note, let me, on behalf of the officers, airmen, airwomen, and civilian staff of Nigerian Air Force, sincerely welcome you all once more to the induction ceremony of the JF-17 Thunder aircraft. Thank you. God bless you all, and God bless Nigeria.
May I request another round of applause for the Chief of the Air Staff for those remarks. The guest of honor, His Excellency, the Executive Governor of Benue State, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, we are proceeding to the next item on the program, which is an all-important proceeding for today. That is the handing and taking over of documents regarding the newly acquired JF-17 Thunder aircraft. This segment will be conducted as follows. The Chairman, Pakistan Aeronautical Complex, Air Vice Marshal Ali Syed Norman, will, together with the Nigerian Air Force representative, the Chief of Aircraft Engineering, Air Vice Marshal M.I. Mukhtar, sign the aircraft documents. The document, after being signed, will be handed over to the Chief of Air Staff, who would in turn hand over same to the Chief of Training and Operations, Air Vice Marshal J.M.D. Gwani, thus signaling the formal release of the platform for deployment for air operations. May I now most respectfully invite the chairman, Pakistan Aeronautical Complex, and the Chief of Aircraft Engineering to commence the handing and taking over process. Thank you. The signing of documents has just been concluded. Any moment from now, the documents will be handed over to the Chief of the Air Staff. The Chief of the Air Staff has just received a document from the Chief of Aircraft Engineering and will soon hand over to the Chief of Training and Operations. The handing and taking over process is concluded. Please, another round of applause. With this, the aircraft has formally been handed over to the Chief of Training and Operations and would be deployed for operational service. The guests of honor, Your Excellency, the Executive Governor, very distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen. Next on the program is the presentation of certificates to the JF-17 Thunder pilots. The guests of honor, sir, prior to the delivery of the aircraft scheduled for induction today, 4 pilots were nominated for operational conversion on the JF-17 Thunder aircraft in Pakistan. Today, we will be privileged to witness the presentation of certificates to these pilots having completed their conversion course on the aircraft. The 4 officers to receive certificates are Squadron Leader J.O. Obadan, Squadron Leader A.A. Odola, Squadron Leader A.S. Abatuba, and Squadron Leader S. Musa. To make the presentation to the pilots, we have a high-power delegation from the Islamic Republic of Pakistan. May I request your kind permission to please introduce the Pakistani delegation? They are Air Marshal Ali Said Norman, who is the Vice Chief of the Air Staff, Pakistan Air Force. We also have Air Vice Marshal Amir Habib Ullah Makin, the Deputy Chairman, Pakistan Aeronautical Complex Board. Also with them is Air Commodore Sohail Sahid Naik, the Vice President, Joint Sales and Marketing, JF-17 Thunder Aircraft, Pakistan Aeronautical Complex Board. I shall now invite the Deputy Chief of Air Staff, Pakistan Air Force, Air Marshal Ali Said Norman, and the Chairman, Pakistan Aeronautical Complex Board, to please step forward, make brief remark, and thereafter present certificates and model aircraft respectively to the pilots.
Your Excellency, the President and Commander-in-Chief of the Armed Forces of Federal Republic of Nigeria, President Muhammad Buhari, ably represented by the Minister of Defense, Major General Bashir, respected Services Chief, Chief of the Air Staff of Nigerian Air Force, Air Marshal Oladio Amao, other attending Nigerian dignitaries, ex-services chiefs, and the Ambassador of Pakistan to Nigeria, the representatives of Pakistan Air Force and Pakistan Aeronautical Complex, a very good morning. It is indeed a matter of immense pleasure and extreme prestige to be a part of today's Nigerian Air Force Defense Day celebrations, which is combined by the handing over ceremony of JF-17 aircraft to the Nigerian Air Force, making it an unforgettable occasion for times to come. Today's event is yet another milestone towards strengthening of relationship between the two brotherly countries, Pakistan and Nigeria, who enjoy a rich historic affiliation, strong military cooperation, and mutual trust. Ladies and gentlemen, today when we would hear the JF-17 Thunder roar in the skies of Nigeria, it will make us all proud that Pakistan Air Force and Nigerian Air Force, together with the support of Pakistan Aeronautical Complex, was able to shoulder this huge responsibility of aircraft and support equipment, delivery, and the training in an amicable manner despite the COVID-19 pandemic limitations. While this is an unprecedented milestone, I am sure that we will, with the induction of JF-17 aircraft, the Nigerian Air Force will enjoy a competitive edge in the region. And The unique capabilities of JF-17 would provide and prove to be a portent for Nigerian security challenges. I would like to thank all the dignitaries for allowing this particular opportunity to thank you, be here on this very historic and memorable occasion. I thank you all.
That was a brief remark by the Deputy Chief of the Air Staff, Pakistan Air Force. We shall now continue with the presentation of certificates. First to be called is Squadron Leader J.O. Obadan. A round of applause. And that is the model aircraft. Next is Squadron Leader A.A. Odunala. Next is Squadron Leader A.S. Abatuba. Last but not the least is Squadron Leader S. Musa. May I request a resounding round of applause for the Vice Chief of the Air Staff Pakistan Air Force and the Chairman, Pakistan Aeronautical Complex. The guests of honor, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, it's now time to listen to the remarks by the guests of honor. I have the honor and privilege to invite the representative of the guests of honor in person of Major General Bashir Sali Magashi, retired, for the address. The guest of honor, sir.
Take the fire. I can take this one out. Let me start by that I stand before you to represent
As I was saying, I stand before you to state that I stand to represent Mr. President, the Commander-in-Chief of the Armed Forces, who is in France to attend international engagement. So whatever I'm going to read is the certified copy of Mr. President's speech to this important occasion of today. Your Excellency, the Executive Governor of Plateau State, Dr. Samuel Otom, the Chairman, House Committee on Defense, Honorable Babajimi Benson, the Chairman, House Committee on Air Force, Honorable Sheikh Mohammed Koko, the Pakistani Ambassador to Nigeria, and members of your entourage, the Chief of Army Staff, Lieutenant General Tahir Ibrahim, the Chief of Naval Staff, Vice Admiral Awal Zubairu Gambo, ably represented, the Vice Chief of Air Staff, Pakistan Air Force, Air Marshal Saeed Noman Ali, our host, the Chief of Air Staff, Air Marshal Oladayo Amo, representative of the Director of State Service, former service chiefs here present, Director Air Force, Ministry of Defense, branch chiefs from Defense and Service Headquarters, commandants of Tri-Service and NAF institutions here present, Director General, Defense Research and Development Bureau, Air Officers Commanding the National President, Nigerian Air Force Officers Wives Association, and other members of NAFOA here present, senior military officers, both serving and retired, distinguished invited guests, members of the press, ladies and gentlemen. I'm indeed highly delighted to join you today to celebrate the Nigerian Air Force on the occasion of 57th anniversary of its establishment as the air arm of the armed forces of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. It is indeed fitting that the grand final of this year's celebration is being marked with the induction of 3 brand new JF-17 Thunder multiple road fighter aircraft into the inventory of the Nigerian Air Force. It also reflects how the service has continued to grow in stature and capability over the past 57 years, while developing competencies to achieve its constitutional mandate of defending the nation's territorial integrity by air. This induction ceremony is also most rewarding to me because it marks another step in the fulfillment of one of my promises, which I made at the beginning of my administration. That is to improve the infrastructure and equipment dispositions of the armed forces and other security agencies to enable their output, professionalism, and service delivery. The 3 JF-17 Thunder fighter and ground attack aircraft being added to the inventory of the Nigerian Air Force today will no doubt boost the operational capacity of the service and add significant impetus to the fight against terrorism, insurgency, banditry, and other forms of criminality in the country. It is noteworthy that the Nigerian Air Force, since its establishment in 1964, has been playing critical roles in the national security as well as in peacekeeping operations in African continent. Its contribution in internal security, peacekeeping, and humanitarian operations in places like Gambia, Guinea, Bissau, Liberia, Cote d'Ivoire, and Mali have only been a source of pride to us as a nation. It has also projected us as a reliable regional power. This indeed is most commendable, as the Nigerian Air Force, alongside with other services, continues to play its unique role in the counter-insurgency operations in the Northeast and anti-banditry operations in the Northwest and North Central, as well as other operations in the southern part of the country, where officers and men, airwomen, soldiers, and ratings are performing very gallantly. Ladies and gentlemen, there is no gainsaying the fact that Nigeria has gone through some of the challenging times in the course of its history as a nation. The past decade has been particularly challenging as we have to deal with the several threats of insurgency, terrorism in the Northeast, while also contending with the menace of armed banditry, kidnapping, and other forms of criminality, especially in the Northwest and North Central and other parts of the country. Through all these times, it has been the resilient and commitment of the members of the armed forces and other security agencies that have ensured the sovereignty and indivisibility of this country. In the process, quite a few of these gallant personnel have paid the supreme price. My eye therefore uses medium to pray for the repose of the souls of the brothers and sisters who have laid down their lives in the service of our fatherland, and pray that the Almighty continues to comfort the families they have left behind, even as grateful nation continues to remember them and their sacrifices. I must also salute the resilience of the Nigerian people who have continued to resist all negative elements that seek to divide us with the destructive rhetoric and disingenuous propaganda. I wish to this opportunity to encourage all law-abiding citizens to continue to stand together irrespective of ethnic, tribal, religious, and political affiliations to pursue the greater goal of a secured, united, and prosperous nation for us and our generation yet unborn. We have no other alternative than to do this. I also want to appreciate the support of government of Pakistan, and in particular the efforts of the Pakistani ambassador to Nigeria at sustaining the strategic partnership between our countries. I believe our nation will continue to take steps that could deepen the bilateral relationship for the betterment of our peoples. This administration will continue with our partners and other members of international communities in order to collectively evolve solutions to the common challenges of terrorism, proliferation of small arms and light weapons, which of course have varying degrees in sub-regional, regional and global impacts. Indeed, such mutually beneficial interactions are part of our commitment to a whole of nation and whole of community approach to dealing with insecurity in Nigeria, West Africa, and the entire African country. On the final note, I wish to commend the Chief of Air Staff, as well as his officers, airmen, airwomen, for not only remaining at the forefront of the fight against all enemies of our dear nation, but also for the various laudable initiatives embarked upon to bridge the capacity and capability gaps, as well as enhance infrastructure in the service and exploit research and development for improved self-reliance. I also congratulate the entire Nigerian Air Force family on this 27th anniversary celebration, as well as the induction of the JF-17 aircraft into the inventory of the service. As I commission these aircraft today, I expect discipline in their operation, as well as strong maintenance culture that will enable the nation get the best out of its investment. At this juncture, I hereby, on behalf of the Commander-in-Chief, induct the JF-17 Thunder aircraft into the service of the Nigerian Air Force and our dear fatherland as NAV 720, NAV 721, and NAV 722. As you fly these machines, I wish you safe flying operations, safe skies, and as well as effective results. Thank you, and God bless Nigeria.
May I request another resounding round of applause for the guest of honor as he resumes his seat for a moment.
But, I hope the governor of Benue State will forgive me by remembering Benue Plateau State. I think Governor of Benue State. Sorry for the mistake. Thank you.
A round of applause for the guest of honor. Thank you, sir. The guest, you may please be seated. The guest of honor, sir. His Excellency, the Executive Governor of Benue State, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, before the guest of honor proceeds to cut the tape at the aircraft stand, may I crave your indulgence to please watch a short video clip highlighting the features and capabilities of the very brand new machine that is being commissioned today for a few minutes. Furthermore, I am directed to announce that the following VIPs would accompany the guests of honor to the aircraft stand for the cutting of the tape. This is in compliance with the COVID-19 protocol. Please, the rest of us are encouraged to remain on our seats and until the guest of honor recovers. The VIPs are the Executive Governor of Benue State, members of the National Assembly, service chiefs, and former service chiefs, the NAFOA National President, Director, Air Force, Ministry of Defense, the Pakistan Ambassador, the Vice Deputy Air Chief, and the Chairman, Pakistan Aeronautical Complex. Please kindly note that these VIPs will accompany the guests of honor for the cutting of the tape and unveiling of the aircraft. Thank you. The video clip, please. The guest of honor, sir. For the sake of our aircraft that already airborne, we will pause the video clip and watch the aerial display. We'll be having coming into the horizon any moment from now, the L-39ZA aircraft, as well as the Alpha jets for the aerial display. Happy viewing, thank you. For further commentaries at this segment, I would like to bring in Squadron Leader A.A. Odunla.
The guest of honor, permit me to stand on the existing protocol. I'm Squadron Leader A.A. Odunla, and I'll be putting you through the aerial display. So participating in the aerial display today is L-39ZA. The L-39ZA is a single-engine basic jet trainer, which was inducted in the NAV in 1986. It's primarily for basic jet pilot training. Due to its strategic external armament stores, the aircraft has also been employed for ground attack roles in the northeast and other various charter of operations. So flying today, we'll be having a 3-ship of the L-39ZA, also known as Cobra Formation. So leading the formation is Squadron Leader Brown. Number 2 aircraft will be Squadron Leader Jerry Apebu, and the 3rd aircraft is flown by Squadron Leader Aminu Hassan and Squadron Leader Abel. So the total flying hours among this crew currently stands at about 7,000 flying hours. So permit me to also introduce the next aircraft that will be participating in this area display. It's the Alpha Jet. So the Alpha Jet is an advanced trainer and light attack aircraft. Since its induction into the NAV, the aircraft has trained over 25 tactical fighter corps and 60 combat-ready pilots for the NAV. The Alpha Jet has also been employed into air-to-air and ground combat and has participated in 4 foreign operations, which includes Sierra Leone, Liberia, Mali, and Gambia, as well as several internal security operations within the country. The total flying hours since inception, it's over 15,000 flying hours. It is worthy to note that the chief of the air staff also flew the Alpha Jet as a qualified fighter instructor. A round of applause for the chief of air staff. So for today's aerial display, the lead aircraft of the Alpha Jet, which is also known as the aggressors. It's the Flight Lieutenant Ahmad, next Flight Lieutenant Bako, and lastly is Flight Lieutenant Salami. So coming on the horizon from the stand, so to our right, so the Cobra formation will be coming in, which is the L-39. They'll be coming in with a smoke, green, white, green, which symbol, we all know it's the color of our national flag. This is in honor of the great nation Nigeria, and also a salute to the guest of honor. The guest of honor, you're welcome. The Cobra formation. Round of applause. So the Cobra formation will be reforming in the Vic formation, and they'll be coming in for series of combat maneuvers, which are usually used in combat situations. So they'll be coming in a Vic formation and also in lazy eight maneuver. So these lazy eight maneuvers is usually performed by offensive fighter aircraft to evade its enemy without losing its energy. So as you can see on the horizon to my left, the Cobra formation will be coming in Vic formation. So that's the Vic formation. So this formation position is usually done by fighter aircraft to support each other. And as you can see, they are all seen as one. So the formation integrity between the two of them, the number 2 aircraft and the number 3 aircraft synchronizes the move of the number 1. And they remain as supportive formation partners. Formation integrity is expected from each of the formation members. So every maneuver you see today takes a long hours of training and discipline among the fighter pilots to be able to perform what we're seeing here today. So their next move is going to be a lazy eight maneuver. However, they will be performing this maneuver in a close trail. So initially in the Vic formation, you can see the 3 aircraft being seen. So the next formation is close trail. So usually this formation position, the 3 aircraft tucks into each other, and they do this in order to reduce their exposure to the enemy radar. The 3 aircraft are seen as just 1 aircraft on the radar. As you can see on the horizon, the 3 aircraft are tucked into each other, and they can only be seen as just 1. A round of applause for the Cobra formation. So subsequently, the formation will be returning back to the Vic formation. The guest of honor, sir, the Cobra formation will be coming in the Vic formation and will come in a very colorful maneuver, which is known as bomb bust. It's a beautiful maneuver and also a symbol of celebration and victory. So from the horizon to our left, from the stand, we can see the Cobra formation in Vic formation. Once again, the green-white smoke is on, and we'll be waiting for the beautiful maneuver by the Cobra formation, the bomb bust. So coming in the Cobra formation in the colorful green, white, green. Stand by for the bomb bust. Beautiful, 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 the bomb bust.
The guest of honor is often said that even the birds are jealous what the Nigerian Air Force pilots can do. And as you can see, one of the critical things that affects air operations is weather. And because our Chief of the Air Staff is a man that God loves, the sky is clear, and we can have a very wonderful aerial display. A round of applause.
So will be the next aircraft participating in the area display is the wonderful Alpha Jet, also known as the Aggressor formation. On the horizon is the Aggressor in Vic formation. So the lead aircraft is flown by Flight Lieutenant Y. Ahmed, and the second aircraft, number 2 aircraft in the formation, is flown by Squadron Leader James Bako. And lastly, the third formation aircraft is Flight Lieutenant Muhyiddin Salami. So it is worthy to know that the Alpha Jet has participated in a series of operations outside and inside, internal operations. The lead aircraft will be coming in subsequently for solo aerobatics. But while we witness the Aggressor formation, they'll be coming in for lazy jet maneuvers also in the close trail formation. On the horizon from our left, from our right, is the Aggressor formation in close trail formation. So every pilot participating in this area display, it is pleased to know that every one of them are qualified fighter instructors who has contributed immensely to the internal security of our great nation. They are seasoned, qualified pilots. So the aggressor formation now will reform back to the VIG formation, and also will be setting up for the bombers. So while we'll anticipate the aggressor coming in for the bomb bust, as we can see on the active is the Cobra formation who has just landed, and they'll be taxiing him back to the chokes. So straight to our front on the rising is the Alpha Jet coming in for the bomb bust. The guest of honor, the Alpha Jet bomb bust. A round of applause for the aggressor formation. So subsequently, the lead aircraft for the aggressor formation will be coming in for solo aerobatics. So as we anticipate the solo aggressor coming in, so shortly we'll be seeing him coming in from the right of the stand, and he will be coming in, pulling up for aileron rolls. So a low pass by the aggressor, giving us a beautiful aileron roll. So subsequently, the solo aerobatic aircraft will be coming in for clover leaf. So every move are calculated moves to put fear in the heart of the enemies. As I straight off front, it's pulling up for the clover leaf, giving us a beautiful LRO and subsequently a modified clover leaf coming in. A round of applause for the aggressor. So that is the beautiful marks written by the Alpha Jet.
Distinguished guests, the Alpha Jet is coming low level for a this is inverted flight. It takes a lot of courage. And of course, the pilot is pulling a lot of G's to be able to achieve this. Please, a round of applause. These maneuvers can only be carried out by personnel that are medically fit, tested, and trusted. And that is it with the men of the Nigerian Air Force. As we say in the Air Force, ever willing, able, and ready. The guests of honor, any moment from now, we will be seeing the three-ship formation of the Alpha Jets coming in, low level, with a break to land. The break to land is usually done to break the enemy's view. Let's watch and fix our gaze in the horizon to behold the spectacle that will unfold in a very short while. The guest of honor, sir. Air operations is unique. I crave your indulgence to exercise a little patience as the three-ship formation gets to come in after rejoining each other. Any moment from now, we'll be seeing the break to land maneuver. The guest of honor, His Excellency, the Executive Governor of Benue State. While we await the coming in of the Alpha Jet formation, permit me to give a highlight of the proceedings in the program as moderately modified. We shall be having next the unveiling of the aircraft as earlier announced. Thereafter, we will take the group photograph. After the group photograph, distinguished guests will return back to this location for us to take the vote of thanks. Thereafter, the guests of honor and the rest of the VIPs will proceed for the R&D exhibition segment. May I use this opportunity to highlight also that while we resume our seats, we'll also take a presentation of gifts. And here they come, breaking into the sky. Please, a round of applause.
In the bid to turn back the tide of insecurity of the nation, in 2016, the administration of President Muhammadu Buhari approved the purchase of 3 JF-17 Thunder aircraft for the Nigerian Air Force. The roaring thunder from the JF-17 fighter jet projects an inkling of doom for those who dare to be enemies and a source of hope for those it protects. The multi-role JF-17 Thunder is a supersonic replacement fighter jet for militaries. It offers low acquisition cost compared with other new fighter jets. Based on its superior operational capabilities, the JF-17 Thunder aircraft provides low operating costs that come with a new, more efficient aircraft as opposed to the much higher operating and maintenance costs associated with competing earlier generation fighters. The JF-17 is powered by a Claymore RD-93 afterburning turbine, delivering 11,100 105 pounds of thrust, or 19,280 pounds with afterburner, allowing for a top speed of Mach 1.6. JF-17 aircraft is a single engine, single seat, all-weather day and night, multi-role tactical fighter with full air-to-air and air-to-surface combat capabilities. Equipped with advanced avionics system, the JF-17 has remarkable medium and low altitude and high supersonic maneuver combat ability, good intercept.
With the kind permission of the guests of honor, we will pause the video clip and proceed with the unveiling of the newly acquired platform. Accordingly, may I respectfully request the Chief of the Air Staff to kindly lead our guests of honor to the aircraft stand for the cutting of the tape and unveiling of the aircraft proper. Once again, may I request that only the dignitaries that were earlier called are to accompany the guests of honor. Thank you.
To the glory of God, I commit this on behalf of the President. Safe flight throughout this lifespan. Thank you.
This state-of-the-art aircraft is known to be in the 4.5 generation cadre of aircraft. The aircraft is equipped with smart multifunctional displays. Smart in the sense of when you think about your smart televisions, it has so many functions you can do with this smart MSDs, and it has an upfront control panel with a smart head-up display. Smart in the sense that it gives the pilot the ability not to look down while flying. It projects so many parameters that the pilot needs: target acquisition, airspeed, altitude, radar, altimeter, and what have you not. So permit me around to and show you the cockpit of the aircraft. But before I do, there are 7 hard points on this aircraft, meaning it can take a load of 300 kilograms. On each wing, it has 2 hard points. It can take either a drop tank for extra fuel to increase your range beyond the 1,200 nautical miles, or you can take extra bombs. And each pylon can take additional 2 bombs, meaning you can take 4 bombs on one wing and 4 bombs on another wing. Also, the center of the aircraft, we call it the belly. On the belly of the aircraft, we can take an additional fuel tank, or we can take, meaning like a bomb, or we can take an ASAL pod. The ASAL pod enables the pilot to be able to do target acquisition both in the air for air targeting and for air-to-ground targeting. The ASAL pod has the capability of giving you signatures on the ground, where you have matching up of or high target moving. It gives you various targets and tells you which one is more active, so you know which one you should engage. And it has the capability with radar both air-to-air, the fire and the throttle enables the pilot to have full hands on throttle without even looking anywhere. All you need to do is look up on your smart head-up display. Your switches, your bomb release buttons, missile release buttons are all there. Also, sir, on the wingtip, you will see a strange-looking kind of object. It's called the missile launcher. It's capable of carrying 2 other missiles on each of the wings, making it a superb aircraft for both multi-role, in the sense of multi-role for air-to-air targets and then for air-to-ground targets, sir. Sir, permit me, sir, I can just quickly show you a brief of the cockpit, sir. Thank you, sir. Yes, sir. So as I was saying, this is the off-front control panel. On this off-front control panel, the pilot has the capability of recording each mission that he takes for battle damage assessment and for clearing of some unnecessary issues. Also, from the off-front control panel, the pilot has the ability of putting the IFF, which is known as identification friend or foe, for the radar operators to know it's a friendly or an enemy aircraft. Also, from this off-front control panel, the pilot has the ability of putting time over target for the ground, to provide adequate support for the ground forces. If the ground forces are to move on an objective at a particular time, the pilot puts in the time over target, and it enables the pilot to know what speed to adjust to arrive at the objective at that time. To the left side is the smart MFD, as I said, multifunctional display. Each MFDs have unique functions, and there are multiple functions. Now, so if I should put this on, you will see that I can do, for each SMSD, it's divided into 2 layers. For each half, I can do multiple functions. I can call up the foil, the engine parameters. I can call up my target identification. I can link this aircraft to the other aircraft starting now, and I'll be able to see the foil on the aircraft, the speed is flying, the altitude is maintaining, and if he locks on any target, he can transmit it to me, just in case it's out of ammunition. I'll be able to now lock on the target from my side and engage the target. That's one of the unique capabilities. Now, for the smart head-up display, as I said, can be flying this aircraft without looking at this. Most of these functions are duplicated back to the smart head-up display. All I need to do is look out. It enables the pilot to have better overview of his mission area objectives and also the objective of looking out in the sky. Now, sir, the aircraft is designed in such a way that it has backup redundancies. It's full fly-by-wire in the sense that if for any reason one of the computers fails, it has a backup computer that will kick in and give the pilot the ability to come back and land safely. Then also, sir, to my left is the hands-on throttle, as I said. It has so many functions, like, yes, sir. So you have the radar. I can adjust the radar antenna elevation to pick any target on the altitude I want. And that is all, sir. So you're welcome to the JF-17, sir.
How do you find it?
Okay, sir, for air-to-air, sir. Now, sir, if you look at this switch, this particular switch now is in navigation. If I push it forward, I'm now in air-to-air mode. So in the air-to-air mode, I'll be able to lock on targets and do everything, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir, I'm okay. Thank you very much, sir. Welcome, sir.
May I request we put our hands together for this milestone acquisition of the Nigerian Air Force. We shall now proceed for the group photograph. And the group photograph will be conducted as follows. We shall have 3 permanent dignitaries that will remain for 3 exposure shots. We'll have the guest of honor, the chief of the air staff, and the executive governor of Benue State. The first photograph will comprise the Chairman House Committee on Defense, Chairman House Committee on the Air Force, the Pakistan Ambassador, the Chief of Army Staff, Chief of Naval Staff Representative, Director Air Force MOD, NAFOA President, the Vice Chief of Air Staff Pakistan, the Deputy Chairman Pakistan Aeronautical Complex, the Commandant AFIT, Commandant Armed Forces Resettlement Center, and Director Defense Research and Development Bureau, as well as the DA Pakistan. May these dignitaries please join up for the group photograph. The second photograph will comprise the guest of honor, the Chief of the Air Staff, the Governor, Benue State, Chief of Army Staff, the Chief of Naval Staff, and all former chiefs of defense and air staff. The third photograph will be the guest of honor, the Chief of the Air Staff. The third photograph will comprise the guest of honor, the Chief of the Air Staff, the Executive Governor of Benue State, all branch chiefs, and all air officers commanding. May I request the senior officers in this category to please step forward to the photograph stand. Thank you. Once again, the third photograph will comprise the guest of honor, Chief of the Air Staff, the Benue State Governor, all branch chiefs, and all air officers commanding. Thank you. At the end of the group photograph, we humbly encourage our distinguished guests to please return back to the pavilion for the concluding part of proceedings. Thank you.
The JF-17 Thunder is equipped with a glass cockpit and a special design canopy. The cockpit features 3 smart multifunction displays, smart head-up display, weapon and mission management computer, and hands-on throttle and stick. An upfront control panel is fitted between the multifunction displays and a smart head-up display. The aircraft has 7 hard points, with 4 located under the wings, 1 under the fuselage, and 2 mounted on the wingtips. It can carry up to 3,700 kilograms payload. Additionally, it is equipped with a defensive aid system, which include a radar warning system, missile approach and warning system, a countermeasure dispensing system, and a self-protection radar jamming pod. The radar warning system collects the direction and proximity of the enemy radar and transmits the data to the pilot. The JF-17 Thunder, it is a good fit for the Nigerian Air Force in the emerging security threats, as it can carry a wide variety of air-to-air and air-to-ground weapons. Today, we are witnessing history as the Nigerian Air Force officially takes possession of 3 of these aircraft after its induction into the Nigerian Air Force's inventory by the President and Commander-in-Chief of the Armed Forces of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, President Muhammadu Buhari,
Guest of honor back to his seat for the concluding part of proceedings.
There you have it. With the Nigerian Air Force's renewed vigor under the leadership of the Chief of the Air Staff, Air Marshal Oladayo Amao, anchoring on his vision that seeks to enhance and sustain critical air power capabilities required for joint force employment in pursuit of national security imperatives. The JF-17 Thunder multi-role fighter aircraft will no doubt add the impetus required to enable the Nigerian Air Force defend the country's territorial integrity. Nigerian Air Force, willing, able, ready.
That was the short clip highlighting the capabilities of the newly acquired JF-17 Thunder multi-role aircrafts. Very distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, the guests of honor. The guests of honor, sir, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, as you can see, the JF-17 Thunder aircrafts are now taxiing out for takeoff. Two of these aircrafts will be airborne in a very short while. May I crave your indulgence to announce that at this time we will be honoring our distinguished guests with some token presentation. May I now most respectfully request the Chief of the Air Staff, Air Marshal Oladayo Amao, Distinguished Flying Star, to kindly step forward and make some token presentation to some of our very, very special guests. First, may I request the guest of honor, the Honorable Minister of Defense, to step forward and receive a token for Mr. President. This presentation goes to the guest of honor, the Commander-in-Chief, Armed Forces of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, His Excellency President Muhammadu Buhari. A round of applause, please. The guest of honor would in like manner receive a token in his own right as the Honorable Minister of Defense. A round of applause. May I request we appreciate the guest of honor as he returns to his seat. Next presentation goes to the Executive Governor of Benue State, His Excellency Dr. Samuel Otom. Thank you, sir. May I invite next to receive a token the Vice Chief of the Air Staff, Pakistan Air Force, Air Marshal Syed Norman. Next to receive a token, may I invite the Ambassador of Pakistan, His Excellency Muhammad Tayyab Azam. Can we have his representative, please? Last but not the least, may I invite the Deputy Chairman, Pakistan Aeronautical Complex, Air Vice Marshal Amir Makan. May I request a round of applause for a round of applause for the Chief of the Air Staff as he resumes his seat. The guests of honor, sir, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, any moment from now, the JF-17s will be taking off. I request that you behold the spectacle and the powerful thrust and weight of the engine as it taxis for takeoff. While we do that, may I crave the indulgence of the guest of honor to invite the Chairman Organizing Committee for the NAV Day 2021, Air Vice Marshal H.B. Abubakar, to give the vote of thanks. The Chairman, sir. The special guest of honor, sir, President and Commander-in-Chief of the Armed Forces, ably represented by the Honorable Minister of Defense, Major General Bashir Salihi Magashi, retired, His Excellency, the Executive Governor of Benue State, Dr. Samuel Otom, members of the National Assembly here present, the Pakistan, ambassador to Nigeria and members of his entourage, the Chief of the Air Staff, Air Marshal Oladayo Amao, Distinguished Flying Star, the Chief of the Army Staff, Lieutenant General Atahir Ibrahim, Chief of the Naval Staff, ably represented by Rear Admiral Samson Bura, former Chiefs of Defense Staff and Service Chiefs here present, distinguished invited guests, ladies and gentlemen, all other protocols duly and respectfully observed. I deem it a great honor and privilege to move a vote of thanks on behalf of the Chief of the Air Staff, officers, airmen, and airwomen of the Nigerian Air Force on this auspicious occasion. First and foremost, we must thank the Almighty God for life, good health, and inspiration for a successful induction ceremony. Our profound gratitude also goes to our distinguished special guest of honor, the President's Commander-in-Chief of the Armed Forces, His Excellency Muhammadu Buhari, Grand Commander of the Federal Republic, who is ably represented by the Honorable Minister of Defense, Major General Bashir Salihi Magashi, retired, for honoring us with his presence at this induction ceremony, marking the 57th anniversary of the Nigerian Air Force. Sir, your untiring commitment and support to meeting the needs of the Nigerian Air Force has seen the induction of 23 brand new aircraft into the inventory of the service. We are indeed very grateful and highly honored to have you in our midst. Our special thanks also go to His Excellency, the Executive Governor of Benue State, members of the National Assembly, and other government officials for taking time, despite their busy schedules, to be with us for this celebration. Permit me to also sincerely thank the Chief of Defense Staff and Service Chiefs, as well as sister agencies, for your continued support. We're indeed grateful. This vote of thanks cannot be complete without special mention of our amiable Chief of the Air Staff, Air Marshal Oladayo Amao, Distinguished Flying Star, who is the brain and driving force behind this occasion. Thank you, sir, for the confidence reposed in us. May I also express our appreciation to our retired but certainly not tired Chiefs of Defense Staff, Service Chiefs, and senior officers. Thank you for identifying with your primary constituency. Let me also respectfully appreciate the Nigerian Air Force Officers' Wives Association, National President, and all other members of the association. Thank you for your unflinching support. I want to also specially thank the Pakistan Vice Chief of the Air Staff and his entourage. Sir, we are grateful that at short notice, you were able to honor our invitation. To our very senior officers here present, we thank you for making the day worth the while. To all service providers, we thank you for your cooperation and support. To the media, we appreciate the existence We appreciate the extensive coverage of our events. And to all members of the organizing committee, I most sincerely appreciate your resilience in making this event a success. Finally, in paraphrasing the words of the former United States President, John F. Kennedy, and I quote, "As we express our gratitude, we must never forget that the highest appreciation is not to utter words," unquote. In our hearts, we truly appreciate you all, and I wish you journey mercies as we depart to our various destinations. Thank you, and God bless.
The guest of honor, sir, that was the vote of thanks by the chairman organizing committee. May I crave your indulgence to please exercise a little patience as the JF-17 Thunder aircraft will be making one or two more passes for our delight. While the aircrafts prepare to come in to the horizon, please permit me to highlight that any moment from now we shall be proceeding to the R&D exhibition stands, at which point I would request our amiable host, the Chief of the Air Staff, who would kindly lead our guest of honor and other distinguished guests for the inspection of the exhibition stands. And here they come. A round of applause for the JF-17. Indeed, we have a new sheriff in town. The guest of honor, sir, as you can see, the aircraft is setting up, and I think that's gonna be, oh, that is wonderful. Making some barrel rolls and loops. A beautiful spectacle in the sky, talking about a wonderful aircraft with wonderful aerodynamics and delta wings. the guest of honor, His Excellency, the Executive Governor of Benue State, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, from my angle of sight in the horizon, I can see coming in with a low pass in two-ship formation. The JF-17 Thunder aircrafts are coming in with the low pass. And here they come into our view. And that is the bomb boss. A low pass one at that. May I once again request a resounding round of applause for the JF-17 Thunder aircraft. At this juncture, may I respectfully request the Chief of the Air Staff, our host, to kindly lead the guests of honor and other dignitaries to the research and development exhibition stands. The Chief of Standards and Evaluation, Air Vice Marshal O.R. Phillips, would be on hand to guide the R&D exhibition. Thank you.